Today we're looking at macro-friendly ice cream. We're looking at 10 brands, and each of these brands can be purchased in store. None of them are direct to consumer. We're gonna be looking at the macros of each brand. We're gonna be looking at a little bit of the ingredients, and we're gonna be talking a lot about taste. And the reason that I think taste is so important is that if the ice cream doesn't taste good, you're better off just having traditional ice cream at a smaller portion size. Why I like macro-friendly ice cream is because it allows you to have a decent sized portion while at the same time getting some protein in and keeping the calories low. I have been an ice cream fanatic since I was 14 years old. At that point in my life, I was very into sports. I was doing martial arts. I was doing swimming. I was playing soccer, basketball, you name it, I was into it. But I had yet to discover the weight room. At around 14, I went to the local YMCA and I absolutely fell in love with weight training. And so over the course of the next couple of years, of course, I got into my nutrition. Prior to that, when I was that 14-year-old kid doing all that activity, every night before bed, I would have a little bit of ice cream. And so back then, in the 1990s, there were no macro-friendly ice cream. It was either Haagen-Dazs or bust. Now, with food science, we have some incredible products on the market, and we're gonna talk about all 10 of those brands today. First brand that we're gonna be looking at today is Halo Top, because I think they revolutionized macro-friendly ice cream. These are the OG of the segment. We have two different ones in front of me. We have the mix-in and we have the traditional. I'm gonna talk about the traditional first because these differ significantly in macros. And it's important to say as we look at each of these brands to understand that flavor to flavor, the macros can differ significantly. So even though right now I'm gonna talk about Halo Top chocolate vanilla twist, if we were to get something like the peanut butter, obviously the macros are gonna be slightly different. Looking at Halo Top, we've got 290 calories per container. And again, that's what I said about the macro-friendly ice cream. I love that you can eat so much of it for so little. The entire container has 17 grams of protein. Remember our protein test. We take the grams of protein, we add a 0 to it. Does it have that many calories or not? This, in fact, does not pass our protein test. And today, when we're looking at all of these, it's very important to understand these are not protein sources. These are desserts with protein in them. None of these are going to pass our protein to my knowledge. I'll look at each label, but to my knowledge, all 10 brands do not pass the protein test. However, they do have protein, and importantly, like in the case of Halo Top, they also have fiber. And this has 18 grams of fiber, and that is coming from soluble corn fiber. So that's how they add fiber to this product. So 17 grams of protein, 18 grams of fiber. That is a lot of fiber, guys. Again, soluble corn fiber. We see erythritol, we see stevia. There's some artificial sweeteners in here. We can talk to that a bit later. The major ingredient is ultra filtered skim milk. Okay, let's go ahead and take a taste test. Chocolate vanilla swirl into it. Here we go. Again, does this taste like Haagen-Dazs? No. But like traditional store-bought generic brand, is this like 90% of the taste? Yeah, would this soothe my ice cream craving? 1 zillion%. And for that reason, Halo Top for a long time has been one of the top selling macro-friendly ice creams on the market. Awesome. Let's next look at the mix-ins. These bad boys have way more calories. This has 590 calories, 16 grams of protein, 17 grams of fiber. Again, all the same sort of ingredients. The issue is this is not as macro-friendly. We are still looking at about half the calories though in this pint that you would if you were to buy something like Haagen-Dazs. So again, it's still lower calorie, but I would lean towards something more like this, unless you were like in maintenance for your diet. And this looks good. This is the cookie dough flavor. Cookie dough is my favorite flavor of real ice cream. I think they're always the like macro-friendly ones. They don't quite nail the cookie dough chunks. But again, this would really soothe my craving for ice cream. I would just go with the traditional pints over the mixed in. If you're gonna get into mixed in territory, you might wanna consider just having a smaller portion of traditional ice cream. Overall, I got these at Wegmans. You can find these all across America at various grocery stores. And I would say my favorite flavors, I really like the peanut butter. I really like the red velvet. Those two in particular are my favorite flavors. Next up, we're looking at Yasso bar. Instead of ultra filtered milk, this is Greek yogurt. I'm mentioning this next, even though I don't consider it necessarily a direct competitor to Halo Top. This is the king on the market. Halo Top is number 2 and Yasso is number 1. And that's not my personal opinion. I'm talking about revenue that they generate. Yasso crushes. I purchased this at Wegmans, and they had a gigantic freezer section strictly for the Yasso itself. They have it everywhere. They have it at Whole Foods, Stop and Shop. Any grocery store you go to is going to have Yasso. And I'm not gonna lie, this is my favorite macro-friendly ice cream option on the market. Looking at 100 calories, 4 grams of protein, 0 grams of fiber per bar. There's no fiber in here. However, decent amount of protein for a macro-friendly ice cream. In terms of ingredients, we're looking at non-fat milk, non-fat Greek yogurt. This does contain sugar. Let's give it a try. We got the cookie dough flavor. Cookie dough, the peanut butter flavor are my favorite. And look at this bad boy. Wow. Awesome. The best. Man. I mentioned earlier how I don't think a lot of the macro-friendly ice cream options, they really nail the cookie dough. I think this, because it contains real sugar, it really does. Got Yasso bar, in my opinion, the best on the market. Next up, we have Nix, which is a direct competitor to Halo Top. The flavor we're gonna be looking at is chocolate chip cookie dough. Again, I bought this at Wegmans. It's not in as many grocery stores as Halo Top. However, it's in quite a bit of grocery stores. And you may have heard about this product recently in the news because David's Bar, it bought a company that produced EPG, which is a fermented fat that has less calories while maintaining the texture of traditional fat. And this product was directly affected because it can no longer purchase EPG, which means they had to go back through their formulation of this product. So we'll be kind to them because they recently had to reformulate their brand. When looking at the macros, we've got 390 calories, 12 grams of protein. This is more calories, less protein than the Halo Top, and 24 grams of fiber. Calorie to fiber ratio, these are actually very similar to each other. So Halo Top beats it out in terms of macros. Looking at ingredients, we've got cream, we've got dairy protein blend, it's milk protein concentrate, milk protein isolate. So interesting, this is using whey protein as opposed to ultra filtered milk. In this, we have plenty of artificial sweeteners, erythritol, allulose, yada, yada, yada. And we have soluble corn fiber for the fiber again. Again, we're looking at cookie dough. Let's give this a taste try. It's a different texture than Halo Top. So if you don't like Halo Top, this is probably worth trying out. However, for me, I prefer Halo Top and I think it has better macros. I do think this has a good taste. If I didn't know Halo Top existed, I would probably be purchasing Nix instead. Overall, a good product, I wouldn't say great. Next up, we're looking at Enlightened, and they actually have 3 products they're offering right now. They have the bars, which I think they're most known for and you can find in most stores. Then they also have their macro-friendly ice cream, and then they also have a Greek frozen yogurt. So 3 different offerings. We'll go through this kind of quickly because there's a lot to try here. The bars, 100 calories, 7 grams of protein, better macros than Yasso, and 6 grams of fiber. Awesome, awesome macros on the bars here. Looking at Enlightened Light, the actual ice cream, 400 calories, more like Nix, 27 grams of fiber. Of any of the 3 ice creams that we looked at, strictly out of a pint, has the most fiber, and 20 grams of protein. So we're talking about strictly protein, fiber. The protein to calorie ratio is more similar to Halo Top, way better than Nix. The fiber, this is king so far. And last up, let's look at the Greek frozen yogurt, 460, so way more calories than anything we've looked at so far. 25 grams of fiber, great on fiber, 31 grams of protein. That is a lot of protein in their Greek frozen yogurt. Okay, let's try these out. And again, the bars are primarily what Enlightened is known for. We have here the chocolate peanut butter, which is my favorite flavor. I think the bars have some really, really awesome flavors. Yeah. Wow, I like that. Peanut butter swirl in the middle. This is, this bar in particular, I think is as good as Yasso. Enlightened. Brownie and cookie dough. One thing I'll say about all these products is storage is king. You'll notice that some cooler sections, they're just not properly designed to handle macro-friendly ice cream. Wegmans crushes it in that department. I bought this at Key Foods. It's hard to find these actual pints. You can find the bars everywhere. I think it's a little icy, just the way they stored it. I've had this flavor before. If I wasn't trying this particular pint, but just their pints in general, they're really, really good. This is good. It could be on par with Halo Top in terms of taste. I prefer it to Nick's. We're looking at chocolate peanut butter. Wow. Man, this is crazy tasting. This tastes so good. Wow, even with a little bit of ice on this. This is the best tasting ice cream I've tried so far. The bars, it's either this or Yasso, but I really do like this flavor in particular. So I'd probably go Yasso and bars and then Enlightened Light, with the exception of this one flavor, which I think ties with Yasso. And then of any of the pints we tried, this is the best pint, this Greek frozen yogurt. That's Enlightened, awesome brand. Now looking at favorite day. This is Target or Target's brand. 390 calories, 21 grams of protein, great. And fiber, we've got 13 grams, so good macros. This has erythritol in it. A lot of the pints that we've been looking at have erythritol in it. The only reason I mention it is because there was a study that came out. It got published, it got headway, in which it looked at erythritol and said you were at increased risk of heart disease if you used erythritol. Problem is, it was a case study, the lowest form of research, and the group they were actually looking at the case study at happened to be cardiovascular patients, so people who had already had prior heart disease. That's not representative of the population. You can't look at people who have had prior cardiovascular issues and say, what's the likelihood of them having erythritol in their diet and heart disease? Because they're already at risk for heart disease because they've had a prior heart test. That's my 2 cents on erythritol. Do not be afraid of erythritol. It's used a lot of times to help cut sweetening agents like stevia, monk true. We have here s'mores. Wow. That's fun. Ugh. Favorite day, in my opinion, slept on. It's a really, really good macro-friendly pint of ice cream. And it has some really, really interesting, unique flavors. They're not for everybody, but I particularly really appreciate favorite day from Target. Next up, we're looking at protein pints. This is the newest bad boy on the market. I purchased this at Target, but they are at other locations. One thing to note about protein pints is the macros really, really differ from pint to pint. So look at the back at that particular label to determine the macros, but they are really high in protein for a macro-friendly ice cream. We're looking at the peanut butter flavor here. Ingredients are very clean relative to ice cream, like much less ingredients, very simple ingredients. It still has things like seed oil in it. Again, we're not worried about seed oil here unless the majority of your diet is processed food. We've got peanut butter chip in front of me. Well, good rule of thumb with macro-friendly ice cream, if it has the word peanut butter in it, it's gonna be phenomenal. This is really, really special. It's actually tastes exceptional. I really do like this product. Protein pints, they are on the expensive side of any of the products we're looking at today. Next up, we're looking at the last macro-friendly pint of the day. We've got Breyers, and this is the only brand that actually has traditional ice cream as well as macro-friendly ice cream. They have 2 different product offerings. They have here, I guess this isn't technically a pint, but you know what I mean. They have here the actual ice cream, and then here they have the bars, and they have various flavors of both of these. They also have a sugar-free version, and that's a low-calorie or macro-friendly version, but I just don't fuck with sugar-free, unless it's diet soda. Okay, 100 calories, 4 grams of fiber. Let's see the protein on this, 2 grams of protein. So right there alone, not worthwhile to me. But let's try it. Let's give it a taste. Ingredients, relatively clean ingredients. We've got polydextrose. That's where they take corn and they modify it so it's simply glucose. So that's where some of the fiber is coming from. We also have soluble corn fiber again, but again, relatively clean ingredients when compared to a lot of the ice creams that we looked at today. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, it's fluffy. It almost tastes more like Cool Whip. Okay, let's try out the bars. We got the Carb Smart, we got fudge. I mean, I'm not blown away by this, obviously, but it's also just vanilla. But compared to like Halo Top vanilla, it doesn't stack up, and it doesn't have protein. Let's try the fudge bars. These are good, not great. Audible mention here, Costco has a fudge bar that is the bomb. So if you're into fudge bars, they don't have any other flavors, it is legit. We'll pop it up on the screen here. Overall, my summary of Breyers, yeah. Next up, we're looking at Clio bars. This box has been through the ringer. I purchased this at Whole Foods. They also have it at Sam's Club. But this one in particular, even when I bought it before I put it in the refrigerator, it was really looking rough. The product itself, however, my wife adores it. She loves it. It has great macros as well. 100 calories, 7 grams of protein. It's close to those Enlightened light macros. Fantastic. No fiber, don't love that. And again, relatively, as I said before, clean, but what I really mean is relatively simple ingredients in this product. These are all examples of something like that. 20% of your diet, 80% of your diet should be single ingredient foods like strawberries, broccoli, salmon, chicken, right? But there needs to be room to have a life and to have foods you enjoy. And for my wife, this is something that she really enjoys, guilt-free. It just simply has superior macros. It is chocolate covered, and on the inside it has Greek yogurt. And there are a ton of flavors. I've tried a lot of them. Some I'm not crazy about, like the strawberry and things like that, but there's like flavors like raspberry, cherry, they're good. The vanilla, the chocolate, in my opinion, are my favorite. Chocolate crumbled off here, but that doesn't always happen. Like I said, this guy's I've been through it. Oh my God. Yeah, they have really, really good products. Clio is a really great brand. I really enjoy the taste, and they have great macros. Next up, we have Skinny Cow. This product has been on the market for a minute. It has stood the test of time. The macros, they're not stellar. 150 calories, 4 grams of protein, 1 gram of fiber. Yeah. Ingredients, skim milk, milk protein concentrate, sugar, dextrose, all the usual suspects in here. Let's give it a try. I'm gonna try chocolate. These are ice cream sandwiches. They have multiple product offerings, but they're really known for their ice cream sandwiches. Here you go, look at that bad boy. There's just something about sugar and the taste. Artificial sweeteners are just, they always have a little aftertaste that sugar doesn't have. You know, the thing about sugar is you want to be mindful of your total consumption. These are desserts with better macros. You're gonna have sugar in your diet. It's gonna happen. It's not the end of the world. Well, I will say after eating all these products today, I definitely had my spill of sugar for the next few days. Skinny Cow, it's been around for a minute. Still a good product. It's obviously very low on the macro tier. And our final product of the day, it takes you to the land of imagination because I could not find any of it in stores at the moment. We are talking about Whole Foods, their Greek yogurt bar, which I think is absolutely fucking delicious. In particular, I really like the coffee and the blueberry. I found in my refrigerator, actually, as I was clearing it out to put all this ice cream in, a blueberry Greek yogurt bar. Again, I really like the blueberry. I really like the coffee. Let's try this bad boy out, see how it tastes. Yeah. The taste is really, really creamy. Great taste. Again, has good macros. This is a stellar product to me. I wouldn't say as good as Yasso because Yasso has such versatility and variety of flavors. Enlightened Light, that peanut butter bar we had, is the bomb. But I would still say it's an equivalent level product, and the macros will pop up the nutrition screen. They stand up. That is my guide to macro-friendly ice cream, guys. We looked at 10 brands. I technically talked about 11 because I mentioned the Costco one. If you like what you saw today, you can hit subscribe. We constantly do product reviews of like all protein bars or all protein powders. We go to the grocery store all the time. My name is Jacob Ziemer, and I've helped thousands of people get in the best shape of their life. I was a trainer for years in Westchester. I still do some semi-private training, but primarily I'm a coach online, and I've helped thousands of people with careers, with families, get in the best shape of their life. And each week we put out long format content on YouTube. We put out short format content on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube as well. If you like what you saw, hit subscribe. I look forward to helping you crush your health and fitness goals.